please God, work. Has it worked? Yes, finally! Right, it has worked. Wait, why? Yes. Right, okay, I've got it on my phone. So, welcome back to, after the 5th attempt of trying to get this to stream, the 3rd round of the 1st season of Tier 2 in WLR. Definitely didn't get that wrong the first time I tried that. Here in Monza, as you can see at the moment, it is a little bit wet. Just a tad, not full wet somehow. But still, it is quite a bit, as we are riding on board with the Tier 3 reserve, who is in Tier 2 for this week of... Yeah, I'm not going to try and say that. Just the AlphaTauri reserve is what I'm going to call them, because that is a lot of numbers. What have you found it? I swear to God, if we are not live this time. Now you see, I can't see that one. No, I'll chuck the link in Discord. None of this is exactly ideal, is it? I did do an intro, yeah. Jack, I don't know if they can hear you on stream. Jack, yeah, you can't be heard. Okay. Right, just have a look in the party settings on PlayStation app. See if you can find something about including your audio in broadcasts. Broadcasts.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
I have a feeling that's a no. I don't think they can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Yes, they can.
Oh, it's working. Lovely.
This is weird.
Now there's going to be an odd delay where I think they couldn't hear you, except we could. Okay, let's not go into that. Anyway.
I have just turned the volume down. I've not got my actual PlayStation set up because I'm only staying in this hotel room for one night and I have to be packed up by 6 o'clock tomorrow morning before I go at breakfast. So
yeah, imagine being in France.
Bonjour, bonjour, mais oui. I don't even know what mais oui means. I'm talking to you from my phone, and I am watching the stream on the actual stream. So this is going to be some really dodgy delaying.
Yeah,
if you know what I'm saying.
You're just going to have to do the good old Ted Kravitz doesn't know what's going on commentary, aren't you?
Pit lane, woohoo!
Yeah, you can see about as much from there as you can actually. So,
yeah.
At the moment, shock horror, Mipio, who maybe should actually be in Tier 1, is currently pretty comfortably out in front on a 29.5, because we don't know how conditions are changing in commentary, because we can't see anything. And F1's ECNZ, the pulsar from last time out, is also up there, as Days does, however, go quickest on a 29.2. That's quite a good lap there.
Mipio was absolutely stellar last week in that Alfa Romeo. And I think that if he pushes the boat out, I mean, he's in the Williams this week. Not that it makes any difference, but if he pushes the boat out this week, we could be in for another Mipio win. But F1.
Oh, Gaffo with a great slide there through the first Lesmo. Absolutely lovely stuff.
F1 CCNZ and Days do both also have a chance. I will be back in a second. I need to put my iPhone on charge so I can actually carry on.
Yeah, so important to note, Imashi has not binned it. He has a qualifying ban from blocking someone in last week's race in qualifying, so he won't be able to do that this week because he's not going anywhere. As we're currently riding on board still with Gaffo's currently very invalid Inter's lap. He's not quite set one yet. Quite a nice helmet he's got there actually. You never really see helmet designs in this game, but there is some pretty nice ones.
Owen's bringing out his artistic side this week, as you can tell.
Yeah,
We
just
do
change
have
the
the
afro
return
you.
of Nepal. We have the return of Nepal 1610 this week. He wasn't here last week, but he's returned. SJ Williams, he's back. He had a little incident with the safety car last week where he decided that he wanted to overtake the safety car. That didn't go very well for him.
Magnus is on a good lap here. Sorry.
He is. He has a new teammate, Blitz Troop. He is a reservist, I'm assuming, and he's here to take the place of whoever was driving in that half last week. Anyway, back to you, Owen.
Yep, so we're currently riding on board with Magnus, who is not Magnus, he's SRT Clark, because he's got banned that many times recently that I don't know what account he's on anymore. But this is a current one. Of course, one of the owners of the league, so you'd expect him to be quick, though Gaffo has proven that's not always true. As he currently sits in P15 behind Marshy, who's serving a qualifying ban. But I'm sure he'll pull something out of the bag later. Of course, Gaffo did have pretty good pace last week, actually. Recovered to P9 after a few early incidents. Quattro kind of mirrored him in that, in Tier 1, though Quattro was actually really quick. I got binned in Tier 1. Yeah, very sad. But I beat the Tier 2 pole, so... I beat the Tier 2 pole, that was my only goal. You can't demote me if I'm quicker than that. So, that's all that matters. But, currently, Magnus is going quickest of anybody in the first sector. I mean, it's fun to watch wet weather racing, even when the wet weather is pretty questionable in how the physics work. And Quattro does... Oh, I didn't know you DNF'd, I thought you finished. Well, never mind. Of course, the first race... the first wet race where I actually beat you. And there's 4 new quick people in the league. It's absolutely wonderful. Yeah, never ideal.
We do this week have a new Alpha Tauri lineup entirely.
I think they're reserves, actually. No, Hayden Codd isn't reserve. Hayden Codd is the full-time AlphaTauri driver. He just missed last week.
Right.
And then the guy with the numbers is a reserve as Magnus goes quickest with a 28.4. People are... I don't know if the track's drying or as Mipio goes on to a 28.0. That would probably lean towards saying the track is drying.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see a dry line, but it's coming, I'm assuming.
Yep, he really locked up into turn 1 there. Looked horrible.
Oof.
So, I mean, at the moment... Oh, I was saying about Gaffo, actually, he's actually putting quite a good lap now. He's 8th quickest at the moment, so... I was incorrect. Yeah, so I'm sure that Monza, as everyone knows... Oh, Jack, I don't know if you would know this, but Monza turn 1 is a bit of a...
Oh, I've done Monza turn 1 before, Owen. I don't like it. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah, I mean, if every single one of these Tier 2s, not to degrade them for being Tier 2s, but if all of them make it through turn 1 alive on lap 1, then... I don't know. Oh, as Magnus has a beautiful moment there. Because, you know, looks nice. That wasn't Magnus, that's Mipio. That's a completely different car. Never mind. But Mipio with a lovely moment. Probably wasn't happy with it, but it looked nice, so who cares. If all these Tier 2s make it through turn 1, I will... what should I do? Any ideas, Jack?
Eat a flat cat.
A what?
a flat cap.
No.
I thought it was probably one of the easier sorts of cap to eat.
I mean, I can't think of a good bet.
Um,
Okay, I mean, if I think of a good bet and they all make it, I'll do a bet. But yeah, that's a fair point, actually, Quattro. Marshy actually blocked that guy in qualifying last week intentionally because he knows that he's going to come out of turn one in first, purely because everyone else will die unless Marshy's the one that causes the death. Anyway, who have we got on track at the moment? Days has gone quickest on a 27.5. I kind of forgot to look at the quali session, I will be honest. But Days has gone quickest on the 27.5 at the moment, which
we
is
have a bit of
quite good actually.
I mean, there was a bit of a three-way sort of
A what?
rivalry last week. A three-way rivalry sort of last week between
Hmm.
Days, Mithio, and the second Red Bull
Oh,
driver.
Nikal's gone third fastest.
He's
It's a
not
good
done
lap
it.
from him.
He's not done it on my screen yet. Let's wait. There he is.
Oh, how far behind are you? God.
Well, quite a bit.
Oh, he's just done a Sebastian Vettel. Interesting.
Let's see. Let's see. Oh, he has.
So, I should probably start paying attention to who's on a lap. That's right. Let's stop going about random things and then let's look at who's going quickest. So currently, Days has just gone off the track and somehow not invalidated, but he's pitting anyway, so it doesn't matter. At the moment, Nakal is on an invalid lap. The AlphaTauri of Hayden Codd is also on an invalid lap, so that's pretty boring. The Haas of SJ Williams is not on an invalid lap, but he is 5.7 seconds off his own personal best, so let's ignore him. The Ferrari of Gaffo is on a lap. We finally found someone. Yeah, you are right. Cutting corners in quali is illegal, but no one will notice. And as commentators, apparently we're not allowed to report things, so kind of just got to leave it.
I'm going to be the most beloved comment. I'm going to be Martin Brundle right here.
In what way?
I am going to say that when people do stupid things, it's just racing, and
So
that
Gaffo's not on a lap. Sorry.
we should send everybody out on hard tyres when it's piss wet through. I'm allowed to swear. I'm just going to say anyway.
Probably not. I mean, just none of the bad ones. I don't really know,
Yeah.
honestly.
Let's
mean,
be honest. There's no small children watching, is there? I don't think we have a very young viewer base. Let's be honest.
yeah. Oh, Magnus has had a massive lock up there. I don't know what incident you're on about, Quattro. There's no incidents. What happened? I didn't see anyone go off at turn one. But yeah, Magnus has had a questionable lap here. I don't know what he's trying to do, but it's entertaining, so I don't much care. I think Mipio I just saw has gone fastest in the first sector, so we'll stay with him, riding on board maybe. Looked very clean through the second Lesmo there.
And
Yeah, incidents are questionable. Yeah,
and of
I
course,
think it's
if you are
about
a
giving
Sky
opinions on incidents because we're meant to be unbiased. I mean, if someone straight lines someone without braking, it's pretty clear what you can say, probably. But for the most part,
and of course,
it's difficult to see what actually happens. As we have Magnus, who's gone quickest on a 127.2. That is a good lap there. Coming round the final corner, though, will Mipio beat him as we finally get the heli cam, the beautifulness that is that cam, and Mipio goes on to the front row, but only second, a tenth and a half off Magnus. Now, is anyone else on a lap? The McLaren of F1 CCNZ, last week's pole sitter, coming up to the line. I think he's starting a lap. He is... yes, he's starting a lap. Anyone else coming to the line? Gaffo has either... I can't see what time it is.
I can either. You're on the yellow
okay,
flag
right, so checkered flag has now fallen. So all these laps now are the ones that count. Next across the line will be SJ Williams, because he has a massive snap in the last corner. That might be invalid there, and he has spun around, so we'll ignore him and ride on board with Hayden Codd coming up to the line. He's not improved. Next across the line, that Alpine is going slowly, so it's going to be the Alfa Romeo of Ilarkin? Ilarkin, we'll go with Ilarkin, as he has a massive slide around the Parabolica that I don't think is called that anymore, but we'll go with it. Coming up to the line, Ilarkin improves to he doesn't improve. So, next across the line, I think, is the current pole sitter of Magnus. I don't know if he's on a lap, if he's got any ERS, but we'll ride on board anyway. Nope, he is pitting, so it's going to be Mipio next. The winner from last time out only needs a tenth and a half to get pole here. And he goes on to pole just by 300ths on a 127.26. Days has gone third fastest behind him. Next across the line will be F1 CCNZ, last time pole sitter, and he goes on to the second row with a 127.8, but 7/10ths off what Mipio could manage. Next across the line will be, though, the other owner in this tier of Gaffo, and he doesn't improve, which means this week Magnus is the winner of the two owners, by a few tenths of a second.
And of course, if you are a Sky Q or Sky Glass customer, you can for the first time ever, press the red button to watch all of our on-boards.
Yep. God, my voice has gone really weak, and I don't know why. It's very annoying. Right, so Mipio, after starting 7th last week and winning, this time is on pole. Now, does that mean he's going to win by loads, or he's going to finish the race 7th? There's two ways you can look at this, really. What do you think, Jack?
If Mipio makes it out of turn 1 alive, then I think he has a good chance of getting that win, because his pace last week was absolutely unbelievable. He was a rocket ship last week. So
Yep.
if he makes it, if he doesn't get murdered in turn 1, then I think he has a good chance.
Yep, so going down the grid, we've got Mipio, Magnus and Days all very close in the top 3 positions. Then we've got F1 CCNZ kind of on his own, 5/10ths ahead and behind of everybody else. Then we've got the Alpine of Ricky X in P5, Nakal in P6, Hayden T. Codd in P7, SJ Williams in P8, Gaffo in P9, the Tier 3 reserve of Larkin in P10, and good job from him there. Alfie Hudson in P11, the other reserve, who I think was that Cayenne guy, is in P12. That Blitztroop might have also been the no, Blitztroop is Blitztroop. Okay, I'm getting confused here. It's no one's name in Discord is the same as it is on EA, and then that's also different to what the name is on PlayStation. It gets very confusing. But anyway, it's a dry race. That means that everyone will have a little bit more speed to carry into turn 1, so a little bit more destruction. But hopefully we don't get that, because this is, of course, a professional racing league. So,
Of course.
I mean, there's money in it. That instantly makes it professional. I have earned more from this league than I have from any real jobs, because I've not got one.
I have a real job, and I like it.
Yeah, you've
But
earned.
I would like to get paid for this.
You've earned more in 2 hours than I did for a full season, so that's technically true. I won 10 quid. Anyway, it's 5 lights, P3 in a championship. Anyway, it is not lights out. It is lights out and away we go. Mipio with quite a good start there, getting away cleanly from Magnus. And Magnus has also got a very good start ahead of the Red Bull of Days. And the Alpine, who is... Oh, there's a massive crash there. Gaffo is involved. Nope, it's Nakal. I was wrong. I don't have to do anything for a bet. We've had deaths at turn 1. They didn't even get to the braking zone. It was Gaffo involved, I was right. So, Gaffo with the really lovely helmet is now dead last. Unfortunate for him, but Mipio leads from Magnus in second place and Ricky X in third, who has overtaken Days off the line. We've got oh, Days has gone! Days has been spun around there. Still seems to have his wing, but oh well, whoever's supporting Days has done it a bit too early there, because he's gone, he's last, and even Gaffo's ahead of him. That is unfortunate there. Oh, Magnus has got the lead! When did that happen? Well, I've completely missed that there. That's unfortunate, but Magnus has taken the lead now, and is ahead of Mipio. That's interesting, I did not see that happen at all. So F1 CCNZ is up to 4th now. Oh, I think Ricky X, yeah, he started 5th, so he got a great start going from 5th to 3rd there.
I agree.
So Mipio's on the medium tyres, that might explain why Magnus was able to get ahead of him so quickly and me completely miss it.
I do.
Then,
Think
we've got another spinner. There's a McLaren and a Haas of Blitztroop have gone off. Both of those guys are tier 3 reserves. So they can just have fun with this race, but that's not ideal for them. The other reserve, actually, are 8th and 9th at the moment with, I think, Cayenne and Lorcan. I don't know if that's their names, I might be getting them mixed up here. But not bad there, and we've had the McLaren. Well, that's annoying, because the McLaren's left and his car's on AI.
What was I going to say now?
Okay.
I think that was a good choice. Mipio, I think, has made a good tactical decision being on the medium tyre. Most people are on the intermediate.
Let's have a look at tyres, actually. So, yeah, I don't know when this will come up on your screen, Jack, but I'm sure you will get it at some point.
Here we go, it's here. Okay, so we do have, it's mostly soft tyres, but we do have a few medium tyres, and Mipio being on the medium tyre is quite a good tactical choice because the softs on SRT Clark, Magnus, when his soft wears down, Mipio will be able to take the win, overcut him. Is that an overcut or an undercut? It's an overcut, isn't it?
Overcut is when you pit second, yeah.
Yeah, I knew that. I second
guessed. The overcut's quite weak in this game, though, Jack.
Oh, that's annoying. But he might have been able to get quite a good undercut on medium tyres and take first spot and put a nice lead between him and Magnus before he has to go and.
Oh, I'm going to cut you short there. We've got some racing for once. The Williams of Alfie Hudson has just got ahead of the Red Bull of Days. I just missed that there. Oh, I'm missing more racing as the Ferrari of Nakal is getting very close to Ricky X. Someone has had a spin. I think it is the Red Bull of Days at... Which chicane is that? I can't remember what that chicane's called, but the chicane that isn't the other chicanes. That one. I should really do my track notes for this. Oh, Nakal has got past the Alpine of Ricky X. Both of those cars on the soft tyres, and here comes F1 Cienzi, who with no contest at all there, completely on the straight, gets ahead of Ricky X, who seems to be struggling a bit here. But nonetheless, Nakal is up to 3rd place in the Ferrari, so that's some good position gains from him, who I believe started 6th. And here comes F1 CCNZ on the main straight, and quite an easy move there, as Ricky X is also going to come at Nakal here, into turn 1, round the outside. F1 CCNZ stays ahead, and Nakal's been pushed off there by Ricky X, and he's been completely spun round. Oh dear, well that's not ideal. Ricky X does get the position, legally, maybe not, but I'm sure he's not too concerned about that at the moment, as he's now under pressure from SJ Williams, who's going to go clean round the outside there. That was a beautiful move from the Haas. As, let's see, anyone else fighting? No. Magnus has broken clear of Mipio's DRS, so that's good for him at least. Ricky X, I'm not sure. He might get a penalty for that, because he did force Nakal into a wall. But I don't know, it's difficult to say, but Monza turn 1 is Monza turn 1, and can you really penalise it for existing? Maybe not. Oh, someone has stopped on track. It's the Red Bull of Days again. He is not having his best race, it must be said. That's not ideal for him. Anyway, we've got not a spinner, but a position change. I'm not going to pay attention to that though, because Ricky X is on the back of SJ Williams with DRS. Coming alongside here, going for the outside into turn 1, and I don't think there's much SJ Williams can do about that on the medium tyres, and he has slightly tapped Ricky X there, but Ricky X should, with better traction, out of turn 1, turn 2 technically actually, keep the position, and for now he does, as we have had another similar move of Hayden Cod getting ahead of the reserve of Lorcan, who is now side by side through, oh I can't remember what that's called, side by side through that one with the other AlphaTauri, and we can't see because of the standings. The Alfa Romeo does stay ahead, but oh, Hayden Cod going slowly there. The Alfa Romeo is going to get a position back here into the first Lesmo, side by side, and just about ahead there, but they're still side by side going into the second Lesmo somehow, and the Alfa Romeo does get ahead, but now he's going to be under pressure with both AlphaTauris having DRS. Will he lose maybe even 2 positions here, going down into Ascari? The first AlphaTauri is gone, the second one is choosing to stay behind and bide his time, but we're going to forget about that and have a look at the battle for the lead as Mipio has gotten back into Magnus's DRS here. Oh, and Days has had a pit stop at some point, we didn't notice that, but he's closer to being back lapped by the leaders at the moment, so we'll ignore that for now. As Mipio going into turn 1, not quite anything doing just yet, but still, he's very much keeping on the back of the Mercedes, whose soft tyres are probably starting to go off now. In the past games, softs have been very powerful here, so that may seem the same, as that's the wrong onboard to be looking behind, as Magnus has a massive rear locking moment into the chicane, which I still can't remember the name of. Jack, it would be helpful if you could search that up for me.
I will.
So, I mean, it's almost certain Magnus is going to lose this position here. Mipio is able to follow really closely here. And with DRS, I don't think there's much Magnus is going to be able to do here. But Mipio isn't actually that quick on the straights. Maybe Magnus using DRS, we can't really tell. But for now, Mipio is going to stay behind. Now, how long that lasts, I really doubt it'll last very long, honestly. Those medium tyres are starting to look brilliant as we've got a yellow flag as Nakal is out. What has happened here? He spun in Ascari and hit the wall in a very Ferrari-esque way.
That turn 3 is called Regia.
Oh, the Della Roggia. Okay, right.
Yeah.
That, I knew it. Yep, sorry. As we've now got SJ Williams being overtaken by Ricky X again. I don't remember SJ Williams getting back ahead of that battle, but he has done. Oh, and I've missed the lead overtake. Of course I have.
He's ahead of the
lovely.
just like he went ahead of that safety car last week.
I don't think he got penalised for that. I mean, he got disqualified, but
he got disqualified. From
he
the
didn't
race.
get externally penalised. We've got another yellow in Sector 1. There's a spin from an AlphaTauri. Yep. The reserve, I think it's Kyan. I don't know how to say that name, but I think it's Kyan. Has had a spin. God, I've missed so much. There's a lot going on. But yeah, Nakal having a spin that was very similar to that one that Danny Kvyat had in, I think, practice of Monza 2020. I remember him having a spin there. I think it's that year. I think it's him. It might not be. Someone had a spin very similar to that though. But now, we do go onto the main straight, and Magnus, despite being on probably worse tyres at this point, has got DRS on Mipio. Now the question is he gaining? Not really, honestly. And Mipio with what sounds like a bit of a lock up there into turn 1. And Magnus is... Oh, there's a VSC. I've missed something again. I mean, it's just blatantly on the screen, bright yellow, but I managed to miss it. Who was that caused by? I'm gonna guess the AlphaTauri that doesn't currently have a front wing of... It's Kyan, I think. I think Kyan. I'm gonna go with Kyan.
Let me have a look. I can't see an AlphaTauri called Kyan.
He's not called Kyan. Kyan's what I think his Discord name is. It's the guy that's L9V1, because I don't know how you'd pronounce L9V1.
Levi.
Levi? Oh, you could be on. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a good point. Why not 3 though? Anyway, the virtual safety car has ended, and Mipio is not using ERS to break DRS, but he might just do it anyway with some good straight line speed there. No, Magnus has kept in. This fight is not over yet. I doubt it'll last much longer because those softs are only going to get worse and worse, but as long as Magnus holds in the DRS, he's in a good place. As we have someone who thinks Nikal should be banned.
He's already doing it.
Yeah, well, I mean, apparently he's ruined Daze's race. I mean, we didn't see that bit, unfortunately. So I can't really say. I mean, I can't judge an incident I've not seen. And we don't ban people for one race, so you can get banned,
Yeah.
but that's if you absolutely just no braking, straight line someone, just death.
If you decide you want to be a terrorist on a Formula One race, then you get banned. But Nikal hasn't been a terrorist. He's just made an unfortunate mistake.
Right, well, I mean, that probably should be banned, which is the McLaren of Hiridium Ilan, who has left his car on AI, which is, like, the one thing you're not meant to do. Like, feel free to rage quit, but now he's just a mobile chicane for everybody. Anyway, Magnus...
That's like me when I race.
Yeah, that's true, but you're like a mobile chicane with aggression.
Yeah.
Magnus, I don't know if Mipio made a mistake, but Magnus is back in his DRS. He did drop out of it at the Lesmos, but he's actually closing in again here, and we might have a fight for the lead.
Well,
I really need to change my TV pod camera settings, because that is horrific to look from. Magnus, though, does seem to be locking up quite a bit, as Mipio's really slow here. I don't know if something's happened, but Magnus is right on the back of him. Are the softs getting better? I don't know. Maybe it was just overheating that Magnus had an issue with. Maybe it was a bluff. We'll never know. But at the moment, he's right on the back of Mipio for the lead. As we do also have that fight between Ricky X and SJ Williams is still going on, but I think Ricky X has just gone off there because he's lost about a second just through the Delaroggio alone. But let's just for now keep an eye on this battle for the lead, because it is of course the most important position, and going into Ascari, Mipio does go defensive, nothing doing there for Magnus, but will he be able to get a good run down even into the Parabolica, which isn't called the Parabolica anymore, but I'm calling it the Parabolica because that's all it's known by really, and Magnus maybe even considering to go for it there, but he's certainly going to have DRS, and down into turn 1, he might even be fully ahead here. We don't know the ERS situation of both cars, but it's a good chance he will. Going down to turn 1 here, riding on board with Magnus. Nothing doing there. DRS not quite strong enough. I'm slightly confused as to how Magnus is suddenly so quick again.
I do think he might. He's knackering his tyres a bit, pushing this hard on a pair of 10-lap-old softs. I think that those tyres are very quickly now going to start to drop off, and that's now going to give Mipio a chance to just head off into the distance, and to be never seen until the end of the race.
But then again, Magnus is still in his DRS here.
That's true.
So I don't think this fight is over just yet. And of course, if Magnus is with him at this point in the race when the softs are not in a good condition, that's probably a good sign for Magnus. When he goes on to the mediums, he will get a bit of an undercut at least. I believe the pit window for those softs is lap 12. So we could see that soon, though Magnus might even dive it in now. Of course, we don't know the gaps through the rest of the field. Magnus has stayed out, but why wouldn't he? When he is in the DRS here, in the slipstream, possibly with ERS, and going down into turn 1, Magnus is going to take the outside line. Mipio goes defensive, round the outside into turn 1. We've seen this before from Hamilton and Verstappen, but Magnus and Mipio do not hit each other. Oh, no, I think they did. Yep, Magnus with a terrible exit there. Potentially a bit of contact, but he's going to go round the outside. Maybe. into the De La Rosia. Will he go for the inside? Will he stay behind? Magnus is going to go for the inside into the De La Rosia. And goes over the sausage curve there, still sticking around the outside. A lot of contact there between the two. This fight is still going on, and all the time, F1 CCNZ is closing in on them.
Indeed.
I don't know how Magnus is holding onto these tyres. He's really sending one here. As Gaffo is not, no, it's not Gaffo in the pit, sorry. Oh, Magnus is going for it into Ascari. That's an odd place to overtake, but he's got the lead there. The question is he going to pit this lap? It is definitely in the pit window for the softs. Most people have now pit for the softs, including Ricky X and Blitzroot. A few other people pit a few laps earlier. Mipio goes around the outside there. But is Magnus trying to steal DRS? Is Magnus pitting? Yep, Magnus comes into pits, and so does Mipio. Potentially going for the hards for Mipio. That would be an interesting decision. Potentially not a terrible one. Magnus held onto the softs quite well, so I'm not sure why he'd want to go for hards, but you never know. Maybe tyre wear is worse than it seems on the broadcast. Will Magnus come out ahead? No, Mipio just stays ahead in the pit stops there. But these two, I mean, I didn't expect them to pit at the same time. I expected Mipio to go a lot longer, and Mipio has gone for the hard tyres. It's an interesting one.
Choice from Mipio.
Yep. But
He's
now,
having a bit of a gamble there.
F1 CCNZ has taken the lead. I'd imagine he's going to go for softs. He's got nothing to lose. He was kind of sort of near the leaders, but way ahead of P4. So he can afford to take risks here. And that risk for the softs might just work out. But I think the battle we're going to stay focused on is the one between Magnus and Mipio for the net race lead, unless we get a safety car. F1 CCNZ would absolutely love that. But going into Ascari here, we might even see Magnus go for it. He is going to go for it on the inside, and it looks like he might be a full car ahead by the time they get there. Magnus, who is now on the grippier mediums, but those hard tyres will certainly come towards Mipio towards the end. Whether it's the right decision, it's difficult to say. But
Those
Mipio,
hard tyres,
yeah,
those hard tyres have definitely got a bit less speed than the medium tyre, and I think that Magnus will be able to take that to his advantage. But Mipio is an excellent
Mipio might not
driver
need the
for
medium tyre here, sorry Jack, but F1 CCNZ has pit. He's also gone for the hard tyres, so maybe tyre wear is higher than we think. Oh, Magnus has been spun around there. I don't know whether he locked his brakes, or a bit of contact with Mipio, or maybe a combination of the two, but Magnus has now dropped to net P3. SJ Williams has taken the lead. The man who was disqualified last time out for overtaking the leaders and safety car is now ahead of the leaders and safety car. Of course, he is yet to pit, but if he's going for the softs, he could be in a good place here. As we see now, Mipio back in the net lead, ahead of F1 CCNZ. After that contact at turn 1, potentially some rear locking. It was difficult to tell from on board. But Magnus is down to net P3, P4 on the road. Ricky X is starting to close in on this battle on his mediums. He could be in there with a shout as well. There's a lot of oh, F1 CCNZ's got a penalty there. That's not ideal for him.
I do not think that SJ Williams is hoping for a safety car, because he will have the insatiable urge to overtake it and will get disqualified.
That is a good point. F1 CCNZ's been disconnected. Okay, I'm going to invite him. That's not good. Friends, let's get him done quick. There we go. Might need to send him another invite. That is terrible for his race. He's probably out of the win there. That's probably the worst thing that could possibly happen. Hopefully I can get him back in quite quickly, but that's so unfortunate for him. Try and invite him as quickly as possible, because we could focus on the lead, but we want all the drivers to be in it. The broadcast takes second to the drivers themselves. Okay, he's back. He's lost about 2-3 seconds there. Could have been a lot worse, really. As for a second there, we had both McLarens on AI. But that has put Magnus back into second place. I think F1CCNZ will be taking control of his car here. Will Ricky X get past him before he can, though? He has done so. So F1CCNZ down to net P4 now, which is so unfortunate for his race. It's not the first time he's disconnected, it is just really annoying. But let's focus on this battle for the net lead. Magnus on the fresher mediums, well, just as fresh mediums, but a compound softer. And Magnus, with relative ease there, before the DRS zone even began, has taken the lead from Mipio. Now the question is, will he be able to break that DRS before the next braking zone? It sounds like he locks up into turn 1 again there. Not ideal, but will Magnus be able to pull a gap here? I think F1CCNZ is now back and he's got ahead of Ricky X there. Let's try and keep a focus on every battle going on though. It seems at the moment it's only battle for net P2 and net P3 that are happening close on track. Everywhere's kind of spread out a bit, except that illustrious battle for the wooden spoon between Alfie Hudson and the disconnected McLaren.
We've got to love a good fight for the wooden spoon.
Yep, you can never miss out on it. As there's
I myself am a wooden spoon championship winner.
Oh, so that's SJ Williams coming up to lap those cars there.
Oof.
SJ Williams still yet to pit. Looks like he's going to come into the pits now, actually. Yep, as he does pit from the lead. So Magnus is going to take the lead here. The actual lead, not the net lead. As SJ Williams probably going to be down to 5th, but he'll be on, I'm assuming, fresh soft tyres. As Magnus does set the fastest lap of the race. So Mipio did just manage to keep DRS there. He's very much still in this fight. F1CCNZ at the moment is ahead of Ricky X, but he does have a penalty. So I think F1CCNZ probably P3 at best if those tyres come to him towards the end. Of course SJ Williams is going to be rapid on those softs. But at the moment, I think... Oh, Magnus has had a massive slide there. That was incredible. I mean, I don't know how he's caught that, but that was lovely to watch. I've never seen someone slide like that through there. You know what? I'm gonna record that. 1 second. That was beautiful. You can't miss out on it.
Who would know you could have drifter racing in F123? Not me.
Yep. So, Mipio is very much keeping Magnus honest here. Those hard tyres might have been a good shout from him, because his car is only going to get faster and faster relative to Magnus's as this race goes on. One to watch will definitely be the Haas of SJ Williams, who's P5 at the moment, and on fresh tyres of anyone, as we've had a spin from the AlphaTauri of Hayden Cod. That's not ideal.
Not ideal at all.
Right. So, let's just keep with this battle for the lead here. Mipio still... Oh, Magnus has just had a massive slide there. He's really struggling with rear locking now. That is probably the 10th time we've seen him lock his rears in this race. And that's given Mipio a lovely opportunity here. But Magnus is just about staying ahead. Not much ERS left now. We've seen him have locking moments into here as well. Will he again? Bit unstable on the rear there. But overall, it looked quite quick through there. So we've got a yellow flag in sector 3. Not sure who that's for. But we'll stay on board with this. As Magnus' car looks horrible to drive. Yeah, he really should move his brake bias a bit.
Hayden Cod has just received a penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
Well, that's not ideal. I think, yeah, Hayden Cod was retiring in the pit lane. So that would explain that. Anyway, we see here Mipio with a nice bit of DRS range. Magnus again looked unstable on entry there. We'll ride on board with Magnus onto the main straight and up to turn 1. And I don't think he can defend this one here, honestly. Mipio's rapid in that straight there. I think the main thing for Magnus here is probably trying not to spin with the state that his brakes look in, because it's been pretty terrible so far. He's kept it okay there. But it does seem that on the hards, Mipio has a bit of the pace advantage at this point. They've been on these tyres for about 7 laps now, so it will certainly start to come to him. As going into the Della Rossia, Magnus a bit wide in the first one, sent him wider in the second, and through the first Lesmo, Mipio has a chance of breaking DRS here, only a 10th in it for Magnus, and all the time, F1 is closing in on this battle.
I'll be back in just a minute.
Okay, that's French things right there. So, Magnus is still with Mipio, so he's still very much in it. I think a thing that could really throw this battle into a bit of disregard here is a penalty. Now, we've seen both of them pretty close on track limits a lot of times throughout this race. Especially with Magnus's rear locking, he could easily get sent wide, and that would be terrible for his race. As at the moment, the only battles we've got in the field are right here at the front between Magnus and Mipio, and then for third place between F1 CCNZ and the Alpine of Ricky X. That's not Ricky X, that's Ricky X right there. SJ Williams is pretty quick on those soft tyres, but I don't think he's going to catch quite in time, but we will see. But let's keep an eye on this main fight here between Magnus and Mipio. It seems like, I mean, it's been difficult to see what tyre wear's been like, because Magnus's softs looked better towards the end of his stint than he did at the start of his stint. Though it must be said his brake bias needs changing at the moment, because he's definitely struggling. The rear really does want to go around him, and we have approached the first of the AI cars that left the race, which I'd imagine someone's definitely going to report. We're not allowed reports commentators, or at least not that I'm aware of. But yeah, that AI car is going to give Mipio DRS here, which is a lovely opportunity, really. Going up to the turn 1, as Magnus, for the first time in a few laps, will not have DRS advantage, and that AI car is not getting out of the way, which is a bit annoying. But it has been overtaken now, so that's not important. It's still just a straight fight between Mipio and Magnus. And that is still literally the only fight on track, other than the one right behind them, which is basically the same fight, if you think about it. Though, F1 CCN's penalty certainly not helping him here. So, Mipio's very close to breaking DRS here. We'll ride on board with Magnus while this is happening. He needs a good Lesmo 1, he's had a good Lesmo 1, and Magnus is going to stick in DRS and keep this fight going just a bit longer. Though I think his ERS isn't quite doing the best at the moment. We're not sure on Mipio's, because I've got my TV pod camera settings in a stupid way where we can't have a sneak peek at their ERS. I apologise about that, I'll change that for next week. But for now, I can't hear you, Jack, you're a bit laggy at the moment.
Can you not put telemetry on?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Thank you, Jack. We can see their ERS. Yep, Magnus is on 25, while Mipio is on 50. I forgot about that. Magnus is pulling out here into turn 1. Not quite able to get a move done there. Still in a very good position. Seems like the braking is horrible at this track. I'm not looking forward to that. Jack, do you want to have a bit of tyre time at the moment, because this battle isn't going to stop anytime soon?
Tyre time? We have a couple of people on the hard tyres.
SJ Williams has pit. He lost his wing. Sorry, carry on.
They're probably hoping to sustain those towards the end and gain an advantage on those people who are on the mediums and the softs, especially like SJ Williams or I'm going to call him Levi 75. We have the predominant tyre is probably the medium tyre. They're all just sort of middle of the road, bit of speed, quite a bit of low deg most of the time. longer life. So I think that's the span we've got there. We'll see how that pans out for those people. Some of it's a bit of a gamble. Some of it's quite tactical choices. But there you go.
Right, so at the moment, it's still just this fight for the lead between Magnus and Mipio here. Magnus, who seemed to forget that he has 8 gears, staying in 7th there on the straight. Not sure what's happened there. Is that a safety car? No, that's just Alfie Hudson, who has retired on track. And another of the things that you're kind of not meant to do. I'll be honest, this race hasn't been quite as close as the others. We've got these 4 at the front that are doing absolutely lovely, and then it's 30 seconds to Marshy, who started 15th. Great drive from him so far, it must be said. We've not really paid much attention to it, but he's been doing a brilliant job. Then there's the Alfa Romeo of Lorcan, a Tier 3 reserve, doing lovely in this race. Then we've got Gaffo, who's currently fighting SJ Williams, and been overtaken by SJ Williams. We caught that at a lovely time. SJ Williams, who just pit for fresh softs after he binned it. Then we've got the Red Bull of Days. He had a lot of earlier incidents that kind of ruined his race, but he does have, well, I say he's had quite good paces. He has a bit of a snap into turn 1 on the brakes. But oh, have I missed an overtake? No, I've not missed an overtake. But we do have a potential one coming here, as Magnus is very much quite, well, I'd say close, but by the looks of it, Mipio's saving ERS, because since we last looked, he's gone up 25%. As has Magnus. So, maybe not. Was there a VSC that I missed? I don't know. Anyway, I mean, it's nice that we've got these 4 having such a close race here. It really has made this race a lot better. Though it must be said, I think Hungary had a bit more action going on than this track. Of course, the racing at Monza isn't quite as good. It's you overtake on a straight, or you don't overtake. If you try in the corners, you'll hit each other. There's no other way, but oh, S-Ray Williams is disconnected, I think.
Oof.
Right, I'm gonna just quickly invite him, because that's not ideal.
Yeah, fair.
There we go. Anyway, he's still ahead of Garfo despite disconnecting, which isn't too bad. But F1 CCNZ is now very close to these leading 2. As is Ricky X, actually. He's still very much here as well. We've got a really close fight going into these last few laps here. 3 of these top 4 not having a penalty. F1 CCNZ can sort of send it all he wants, because no matter what he does here, unless he gets lucky, it's a P4, so he may as well just go for it. Everyone else has to think about what they do here. As Magnus thinking about what he's doing, and he's thinking about going into the lead, into turn 1, but Mipio's going to send one down the inside. Bit of a late move there, but he keeps it clean. Well, kind of. Magnus does stay ahead. F1 CCNZ gets involved there too. But Magnus has retaken the lead on his mediums, which we thought would get worse as the race has gone on, and apparently he's now doing better than he did at the start of the stint. But Mipio is still going for it here. That is a terrible camera angle. Oh god. But Magnus just about staying ahead. Mipio is under pressure from F1 CCNZ here. Are they still side by side? Yes, they are. And now F1 CCNZ, sorry, is under pressure from Ricky X, who has got ahead into the second Lesmo. Everything is happening here in these last few laps. As now Mipio with DRS on Magnus. Will he get back into a good position into Ascari? It's difficult to tell. He's actually going defensive from Ricky X there, I think. But these 4 are so close, as Mipio's had a moment in Ascari there, and that's really put him under pressure from Ricky X, having to use a lot of the ERS, which he has saved up by this point. But still, very much able to overtake Magnus should he need to with DRS, which is very powerful here. Magnus might not be thinking about staying ahead of Mipio, he'll be thinking about staying ahead of Ricky X. As, let's look from Magnus's POV. Mipio pulling to the inside there, does stay behind us. Ricky X darts down the inside, doesn't quite get ahead of Mipio, as F1 CCNZ is side by side with him in the background there. That's the wrong car. God, I need to get used to this broadcast. Mipio taking an oddly wide line there, but still, we've got 4 cars within a second on lap 26 of 27 for the lead. I say that F1 CCNZ's just fallen out of a second, as has Ricky X. Magnus is really sending it here, trying to pull a gap on these last few laps. Probably wants to try and break DRS. He's got quite a bit of DRS saved up, as has Mipio. They both know these last few laps are the ones that matters. As Gaffo's been given a 5-second for speeding in the pit lane, he might be trying to go for fastest lap there. As going into Ascari, Magnus does lead from Mipio, from Ricky X, from F1 CCNZ. F1 CCNZ can afford to absolutely send it here because pretty much know what he does. It is a P4 unless the other ones spin ahead of him. But we're going to focus on this battle for the lead here. As going into the Parabolica, going on to the final lap of the race, Magnus will start it off leading. Will he finish it leading? He has a full ERS. Mipio has a full ERS. Ricky X might have a full ERS, I must admit. I didn't check his. But Mipio is going to pull out into turn 1 and he's going to take the lead here. Magnus does, however, tap him going into turn 1. Mipio has been sent around. Magnus just about avoids him there. But that's surely a penalty there, as Ricky X is not into the lead. He's had a spin. I don't know where Ricky X has gone. But now Magnus does keep the lead, though he did hit Mipio. I'm not sure if that'll be investigated. I can pretty fairly say it will. Mipio, though, is still very much on the back of Magnus. He could even win this on track at this point. F1 CCNZ is still in with a shout here. He might just keep P3 if Ricky X has a bad lap, but I think Ricky X is in a pretty good position with his penalty. We'll put that onto the interval gap. As we see, Mipio is not close to... Magnus has picked up a penalty. That is crucial. Let's get the leader gap back. On the last lap of the race, Ricky X could be in for a P2 here as Magnus has picked up a 3-second penalty. Mipio, unless he bins it, is in for a near guaranteed win here. Going on to the Parabolica, not much Magnus can do. There's a 10th in it between him and Ricky X for this penalty. Magnus is going to pick up DRS. I don't know if the DRS zone is before the start-finish straight, but going around the Parabolica, Magnus is going to cross the line to win on track, but it's going to be Mipio that wins round 3. 2 wins in a row for Mipio. Ricky X will come home in P3, and F1 CCNZ in his pretty much guaranteed P4 after that 3-second time penalty. But all 4 of these drivers have done a brilliant job this race. I think there will be an investigation there between Magnus and Mipio, because that was questionable in turn 1, but we're not sure. Not everything gets a penalty.
For the second time in WLR Tier 2, Mipio is a Grand Prix winner. He's probably very chuffed with what's just happened there. He was hoping and praying those last 30 seconds that something would happen that would give him the lead, and Magnus unfortunately was awarded that penalty. That must have been a moment of joy for Mipio.
Yep, so we should probably watch the rest of the race because there is still a race going on here, as I believe Gaffo is going for the fastest lap. Current fastest lap is held by SJ Williams on a 1:21.3. Will Gaffo be able to beat that? He's right out of ERS coming across the line. Gaffo does beat it. He does a 1:21.1. Not a bad race from him in P7. Days after a lot of early spins, comes home in P8. Followed by, the reserve of Blitztroop does actually come out in P8 instead because of Days' penalties. But Mipio, for the second time in a row, does win. Not such a big margin this time. It was very close at the front with those 4. It stayed close the whole time. Unfortunate for those that had a spin. I think Ricky X was definitely in with a shout of winning that. I'm not sure what happens to him at turn 1, but it's nonetheless a podium. Mipio, though, wins the Italian GP from, I can't remember, I think it was Magnus in second. I'm not sure after penalties. And they've actually added unique podiums in this game. I didn't notice that. Or at least they have for Italy. But yeah, Ricky X, I believe he was our championship leader going into this. I'm not sure if he's going to keep the championship lead. But yeah, Mipio wins from pole. Magnus is second, from second on the grid, though that does not tell the full story at all. Ricky X comes home third from 5th. That was a pretty good drive from him. F1 CCNZ started 4th, and he finishes 4th. I'm not quite sure if that tells the full story either, because he was in the lead at one point, I think, and he had great fights throughout. Marshy comes home from 15th to 5th, a great drive from him, followed by the reserve of Larkin. Gaffo, the reserve of Blitztroop, dazed after a lot of early spins. He definitely had good pace though, just by looking at the fastest laps. The other reserve of Levy, maybe, who I think is also Cayenne in Discord, I don't know. Then SJ Williams, who was having a great race until a few extra stops from losing his wing. The AI car of the Hadrian Illen, Alfie Hudson, who DNF'd, Hayden Codd, who DNF'd, and Nakal, who DNF'd at Ascari. So, that has been Tier 2 round... Jack, what round was it? 3. It was 3. Tier 2 round 3 at Monza, and we will see you next week at...
Please stand by.
Where is it?
It's at
Yeah, no,
Saudi
we
Arabia.
know this. We're professionals. Saudi Arabia. Oh, it's Saudi Arabia. Oh. Okay, we'll see you next week at Saudi Arabia. That's not quite as happy as I wanted to leave it. Au revoir.
Good night.
Because, of course, you're now French, Jack. Is that French?
Au revoir. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It means good night.
I mean, it's really unlucky that you're in French, isn't it? French?
In
That's
French.
a new one. Yeah, you're in France.